That's nice. All right. I always love it when I make it through in one take with no mistakes. I have played that song now hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times to get ready for this. So praise be to God for that. So that was Be Thou My Vision. And thank you for listening, by the way. I really appreciate it. And I pray that this blesses you. Down in the description, I have a link to a PDF of the music, the score. And I should tell you, I'm not good at doing the scores yet, showing which part the right hand is taking and which part the left hand is taking. And so I'm glad I'm doing this video, and I figured out all this, the wiring. By the way, 2 iPhone 13s and the built-in camera to the MacBook Pro, and you're in business. Yay! So, where was I going with all? I always screw myself up. I wanted to show you some of the things I do and how I arrange a hymn so that maybe it'll help you in kind of maybe you're struggling with ways to play hymns. And one of the things that I'm just going to say right off the bat, simplify, simplify, simplify. That's what the Lord has just been beating into my head. You don't have to make this some giant classical masterpiece. I have respect for people who do that. But what's been laid on my heart is to simplify these hymns such that they can just kind of be in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, and you can walk about your day and think of the words. That's the next thing on my list, is to listen to these hymns when I'm walking about and have the lyrics there and start kind of practicing memorizing the lyrics to these, because they're beautiful. They're just beautiful. So one of the things on the music that you might look at and go, oh, it looks like there's these giant chords in the right hand. They're not. Remember, Kevin is lazy. Kevin does things to help the other hand out. And so for the chorus part where it goes da 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 da, you'll hear that really cool harmony part. Well, all that is the left hand. So let's play it slow. Okay? That's just 3 notes. It doesn't have to be these giant chords. Giant chords are cool, but it doesn't have to be. Let your left hand go up. Now you're going to have to make a little bit of jump to get back down to the D. Okay, that's all I'm doing right there. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, how I arrange hymns these days. Now, you can hear me doing a little bit of what I'm going to talk about. You can hear it on Emmanuel, God With Us, which was the Christmas album, the Advent album that I did back in December. November, actually, and then December and January I spent doing Acoustic Hymns Volume 2. And so now I'm going to tell, and Be Thou My Vision is going to be the first track on Acoustic Hymns Volume 3. And I should tell you that I was going to go study a bunch of jazz voicings because, I don't know, I got it in my head that I thought it would be cool if I could kind of get away a little bit from some of the real ultra simplistic things that I do, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And so I went out and I studied some stuff, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know about all that stuff. My jazz skills I'm a hack, okay? I'll just admit it. I am a absolute hack. Doesn't mean I can't learn it and figure it out, but so I went out and I listened to some stuff. Piano by Johnny. That was a great guy. I love watching what he does. And then I sat down to do Be Thou My Vision, and I'm like, I don't really think I can shoehorn some of these jazz voicings in here yet. Maybe that's a future thing. And the Lord kind of seemed to agree and kind of said, let's keep it simple. It's okay to make things interesting, but let's not get too crazy here. And so I think what's going to happen is Acoustic Hymns Volume 2, followed up by Acoustic Hymns Volume 3. It's just going to be kind of the 1-2 punch of, I shouldn't be violent there, of getting these hymns into your head, and so that you can think of them later as you're, out in nature or whatever it is that you're doing. So the way I arrange hymns is I like to start in the high register with the chorus, you know, and then get myself down to where I'm going to actually start the hymn. The other thing I like to do is do what's called a little turnaround, and that's kind of a jazz term. It's from all the bands I've been in. And so you'll hear me when I get done. Right here is going to be a little turnaround. And what that does is that prepares the listener that, okay, we've done the intro. Now let's get ready for the main verse. Okay, when I first started arranging this tune, I was so busy. It's been the bane of my existence. Mark Bowling, if you're out there and you're watching this, you and me lost a gig because we were too busy. And poor Tom McVeigh just looked over at us and shook his head sadly, and he said, too many notes. So I originally started arranging this with just a ton of, what I call rolling bass, a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like, no, simplify. And so what you're going to hear is simple, sometimes just 3-note chords. That's another thing I started doing. Instead of going up to the 5th all the time, okay, yeah, we all know how to do it. It gets old after a while. So why not just do kind of a rhythmic thing just with the root in the 5th? And just do it once. Then I had this part going all over the map. And I'm telling you, God speaks. And he said, simplify. Stop right there and go up to the A7 and stop there. There's that helper. The left hand's helping me out. And that's also a disturbing habit. I'll double hit notes to make an emphasis. You might like it. I'm kind of getting tired of it, but I shouldn't pick on myself so much. I mean, it is what it is. So there's that little bit of rhythm in the left hand. Okay, now we're going to do a turnaround again. Part of that is just, it gives me a chance to settle my soul, get ready for the second verse. Now the second verse, I'm not going to go up here yet. Okay, remember, I'm trying to tell you how I typically arrange hymns. Start with the chorus up here, get down here, do a turnaround, do the first verse, do a turnaround, do the second verse. Now, if the hymn is a hymn that only has 3 verses, I'll only do 1 verse down here, and I'll come up and do the second verse up here, and then I'll come back down, do the big third verse, maybe with a key change, and then I'll work my way up here to end. And so we'll go through that in just a minute. In this case, I think there's enough verses that I can stay in the middle lower twice. Okay, so I've already done the first one. Now the second one, expand upon it. Do a little bit more rhythm and a little bit more grandeur to it, okay? So here we go. Now these are just going to be octaves. Okay, now there's something else I noticed. The more I study my own playing, a lot of keyboard players, we just sit and we play. We don't think about what we're doing. Well, ever since doing these videos, I've had to sit there and go, what are you actually doing? And there's a syncopation I'm doing that I kind of like and I kind of don't like. Okay, so I'm going to walk through it really slow with you. So these are just octaves. These are easy. Now, if my poor mother was still alive, she'd let it go because she loves hymns, but she would probably say, would you stop that syncopation? Because that poor woman, she would set that timer, that egg timer for an hour, or whatever timer it was, for an hour. When I was little, all the way up to age 16, I had that 1 hour a day I had to practice, and she set the timer. And she knew when I cheated and turned the timer down because she synchronized it with the clock in the kitchen. Yeah, they're smart like that. And she would hear me playing, Debussy or something, and she'd hear me syncopating it, and she'd say, stop that syncopation. In this case, I think it's okay because it gives a little bit of movement to it, so it's not just so straight and stodgy. Okay? Now here's that thing in the left hand. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Then we jump down to the B minor. Okay, now here's the turnaround again, except we're going to do the turnaround, the first part of the turnaround low, then we're going to transition and get ourselves up here because we're cheating and we're trying to get ourselves up here without jarring the listener. All right, so turn around again. And that's another thing I do is I'll do a phrase where I'll kind of come together on a seventh or a major seventh in some cases. And so that's just something to try. Here's that thing again. Okay, then we have a jump. And that's a third finger there, right there. It's probably terrible fingering. My piano teacher would probably rap me with a pencil. Now I'm back down here again for the last verse that's going to be big. Key change. Now this is a straight key change. Sometimes I'll do a turnaround key change, which is we're in D. Instead of going to the G over A, I'll go whatever that is for the next key up, in which case it's B over A. So instead of going... So I could have done it that way, but this song seemed to indicate it's just a straight key change. So now we're going to play it as big as we can play it. And by the way, none of this would I do if I was leading worship, because it's not about this. It's more about the singing and trying to get people to sing. And again, I don't think that as a worship leader that my voice should be above everyone else's either. I think it should be trying to blend in and trying to gather people to sing with me. I don't want to be singing above you. I want you to sing with me. And I don't want the piano doing crazy things. So this is for solo piano. We'll do videos later for leading worship. It's a lot simpler. Okay, so we've done the key change, and now we're doing the big last verse. Big, big. Now we're in A, and we do the little helper thing with our left hand. Okay, now from here on out, my job is to get me back up here so I can end the song. Now watch how simple this is. This is simple. Notice I'm not doing a lot of rolling, just the first one. Make it easy on yourself. Got to get up here. Got to get up there. first resolve chord. Sometimes I don't do anything, but in this case. And then you whisper the melody. Now, some people might say that's cheesy or schmaltzy or whatever. I like to think of it as that's my way of saying goodbye. That's my but keep it in my head. Okay? Be thou my vision. Okay? It's usually the title of the song that you're playing again. And I stumbled across this, I think on the Emmanuel album or on the Acoustic Hymns Volume 2 album. And I'm like, that's cool. So of course, I immediately overused it on practically every song. Now, let's talk about endings. Sometimes you can end it up here. Something like that. Sometimes you can end it up here, or start to resolve it, and then go down, way down here. That to me was a little big. You can do just a third thing. See, that to me was a little square. So I added the second. Now, you know what the second does to me, for me? A jazz guy probably would shred me and tell me I'm full of holes. But it makes me think the future. What's the future about? And then you come back. Isn't that cool? So, hopefully, as you've watched this whole thing and you're looking at the music and you're going, okay, it's not as crazy as the music makes it look. It's not. It's not, because I'm lazy. And I try to do things to help myself out, because I admire people who do the big jumps and stuff. Oh, they must practice forever, because I'm always falling all over myself. So if I can help myself out, I will. All right, so keep that in mind when you look at all of my hymn arrangements and you look at my sheet music. I just don't know enough about Logic Pro to do the sheet music correctly, where I think you're supposed to put little RH for right hand and LH for left hand so that you could see what's what. My theory here is, as long as I do these videos and you can see what I'm playing and you're looking at the music, then I think you'll be okay. So real quick, that was Be Thou My Vision. It's the first track on Acoustic Hymns Volume 3, which I'm working on right now. The next song on the album is going to be Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Oh. See, in there I might put a second in. I don't know how I'm going to arrange it yet, but it's such a pretty tune, you know. See, now again, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Why don't we do the intro up here? And maybe don't roll it. Let's see. Okay, there's our intro. Now we're ready to play it for real. Yeah, so don't take any of that as gospel, because I'm still working on that arrangement. It took me a long time to arrange Be Thou My Vision to where I liked it, because again, I put too much in it. All right, so I've talked enough. Hopefully this helped you. The PDF for the music, the score, should be in the notes down below in YouTube, and it's been fun hanging with you. And I'm always learning, okay? So don't think that I think I have arrived. I have not arrived. I have so much more to go, so much more to go. And maybe the good Lord will let me introduce a little bit more jazz voicings down the way, but I'm not worried if he doesn't. I got another part of my life that I can use for that, so I hope, I think. So anyway, be thou my vision. Until next time.